All right, we're going to move on to Carl R's question next. He says, is there any financial checklists for people preparing to get married? I know merging accounts has been discussed, but is there anything that is easier for if you prepare? But let's see, is there anything that's easier if you're preparing before the wedding date? So before you're going to actually merge the accounts, what should Carl be doing?
So here's my initial thought. I think for any relationship, specifically for a marital relationship, because it's a biggie, communication is key. So you can talk about all like the blocking and tackling around like, okay, how do we combine accounts and what does that look like and yada, yada, yada. I think having some really open conversations about, hey, here's what I've been doing so far. Hey, just so you know, I'm coming into this marriage with debt. I've got student loans. I've got credit card. I've got whatever. Or hey, you know, I make X number of dollars and I make X number of dollars. And hey, how are we going to approach things? Like when we go to buy stuff, do we got to check in with each other? Or like, is there like going to be community stuff? Or like, how do is groceries? Is it like, what if I eat more than you eat? There's no like necessarily like absolute right answer to those questions. But I think the more uncomfortable conversations you can have, the less uncomfortable it will be. I'm going to say that again. The more uncomfortable conversations you can have early, the less uncomfortable things will be later because you've already addressed it. You've already hashed it out. You've already had that. And so if you can both go into the marriage with eyes wide open, hey, here's what I think about money. Hey, here's what I think about paying for kids' college. Here's what I think about buying houses. Here's what I think about buying cars. Here's what I think about borrowing money. And you can kind of align and make sure you're on the same page. You'll be amazed at how much more aligned you'll be starting out. Whereas one of you may have come from a family where the thought was, hey, if you can afford the monthly payment, you can afford it. Well, no, go get your car. You deserve it. You earn it. And you come from another person. No, it's cash. We buy clunkers or buy beaters. There's going to be some friction and tension, and there might even be familial baggage that you have to work through to make sure that you guys are on the same page. So the number one best thing I think I would tell Carl to do is have those conversations early. Go and don't wait till after. Don't have them on the way to the honeymoon. Go and start having those conversations now around what money means to you each individually and to you as a couple.
I think when you're getting married, you're already going to be naked with this person. You might as well go ahead and be financially naked with them as well, just to kind of know what everybody has going on. I mean, I'm serious.
No, keep going. Don't just ignore us.
It's because I think everybody understands. I mean, you even see it on some of the reality shows. They'll talk about kids. They'll talk about, those type of religion and those type of where we're going to live, those type of decisions. But it really comes down to knowing somebody through and through completely. Because I think a lot of times in relationships, if you're going to do marriage right, it goes beyond just the passion of the emotions. It's also making sure you're aligned with your partner. And it really is a measure twice, cut once type thing. And a lot of people, it's easier. I will say this. I think it's easier for people who come into marriages both empty, meaning they don't have assets, they don't have debts, because then you can just build something. Two becomes one very easily, and you grow this thing together. Where it gets complicated is life happens. I mean, and I'm always very grace-filled with understanding adult marriages where maybe there's kids from a previous marriage or somebody has assets, family assets, and then the other one doesn't have anything, maybe even has debt. You got to get all that out there in the open so you can take each marriage for where they are and then have a healthy conversation. Because what you don't want to do is expect post-honeymoon that, you're going to figure out some inequality in the relationship and then all of a sudden this is when we're going to fix it. I mean, because that's the part I see all the time is that, I don't want to ever get in a situation where you didn't have these conversations and then one person makes more than the other or one has more assets and then this resentment of financial stress and other things are building up under the surface and it poisons this thing that was once beautiful.
Yep.
And I think that's why communication is so important. Do the net worth exercise. Maybe do that net worth exercise.
Maybe do it individually.
Bo was planning on doing it, I think, on the plane to the honeymoon. He thought that would be sexy and really cool to do that.
That way.
But I think that maybe it even makes sense to do net worth exercise even in the
Like
engagement.
In the premarital phase.
Yeah, in the premarital.
phase.
Go get counseling. I mean, premarital. I mean, I thought it was great that my wife and I went and got some premarital counseling. And it was great. The gentleman who did it for us had been married like 30 years at the time. And he was telling us, all the little things, that will actually turn into big things if you're not careful. And that was very sound advice that he gave us. And then I would also go start work. Don't skip the cash flow, exercises. That's why the financial order of operations, it really is your all-terrain, all-weather, perfect thing to kind of help you figure out how you can navigate these type of decisions. But start that communication process early, because I think everybody gets excited about the whole naked part with their partner without doing the financial naked part.